HMRC don't want you to understand this new 12k bank rule. It can mean millions of ordinary, hard-working British people up and down the UK receive brown envelopes from HMRC demanding them for money that they knew nothing about. The truth is that the HMRC don't want average people to understand taxes. They deliberately keep it so long and complicated that it keeps ordinary people ignorant. In fact, the tax code is so long that if you were to read it all, it would be the equivalent of reading all the works of Shakespeare 12 times over. Nobody's got time for that, especially hard-working people. Now, people like me that are wealthy, I've got the money and the resources to be able to have full-time accountants and tax advisors to be able to help me understand how to win this game. So in this video, I'm going to break down this new rule that the ordinary person knows nothing about. So for years, the HMRC have had a nice tax-efficient scheme which is known as the tax ISA. This allows people to save up money and earn interest, or even invest a small amount into stocks and shares without paying tax on their interest. And the idea is that if you're a hard-working person, the government wants to help you. They want to encourage you to put some of your money aside and save it and invest it and even make a small profit from the stock market tax-free. Now, this is not designed for the super rich because this has been capped for £20,000. So it's designed for people that are just working, or you can even do it like me, my kids do it. So my kids, when they do some tasks and some chores, and when we give them a little bit of money or pocket money, they put it into their ISA, which actually grows, makes a little bit of interest, and is tax-free. Only for the first £20,000. So this is small fry, and this is for the ordinary, hard-working folks that want to just make a little, get a little bit of an interest, put a little bit into the stock market, and the government for years have given them a break through this scheme. And the reason I think that's been a nice scheme, and my kids have done that, is because most of the tax write-offs that you can do are for the rich. All the loopholes are for people that are rich, they're in the know. This is very widely known, it's mainstream, lots of people do it, and lots of people make a small interest from their savings this way, tax-free. Now, the first thing that I think that the government have done, which is a little bit unfair, is the amount is 20,000, fine. But they haven't increased that for almost 10 years. So 20,000, because of inflation, is becoming less and less and less buying power. So what's happened is the fact that it stayed at 20,000 for all these years, they've not increased it since 2017. It should really now, according to inflation, be £27,000. So it's a worse scheme just because of, we call this the stealth tax, where you don't feel like you're getting taxed, but something's getting worse and worse due to inflation. But then the HMRC decided, actually, we're going to put even more rules on this scheme. From the 6th of April 2027, if you're under 65 years old, most people, you're only able to put £12,000 now capped per year into your cash ISA, rather than the full 20,000. Now the other amount, the 8,000, you can still invest into stocks, but you can't put it into cash. It's now capped. So it's just, that was the first step to making this a little bit more regulated and adding more strings and rules, making it a bit more difficult. Now, most people got around this by putting that extra £8,000 as cash into their stocks and shares ISA. And usually stocks and shares ISAs, if you just leave cash, will also just pay you interest, and tax-free, of course. Well, at least that's what we thought. Because just last month, in June 2026, the government confirmed that they're going to put in extra rules to stop that. So from April 2027, you can still hold cash in your stocks and shares ISA, but any interest that you make will face a 22% tax. That's interesting, isn't it? Because didn't Keir Starmer say when he was running for Prime Minister that there wouldn't be additional taxes? There was already enough taxes for the hard-working people, and they wouldn't be taxing working class anymore. Is that not what he said? Well, who's this scheme for? Is it for the super rich? Is it for the elites? I mean, I'm not being funny, but do you think people like me get excited about £20,000 in my ISA fund, tax-free? No. This is for ordinary, hard-working, 9-to-5 people, factory workers that save their pennies and put a little bit and see it grow. And that little scheme, that one scheme that they had that wasn't getting taxed, is now taxed. So we're taxed on everything now. We're taxed when we buy a house, we're taxed when we sell a house, we're taxed when we have a car, we have our car tax, we're taxed on our house with our council tax, We're taxed on our income with income tax, PAYE tax. Our employer has to pay national insurance tax, which means that they can't afford to give us pay rises. Every time you buy something, every time you stay at a hotel, you don't even realise you're having to pay VAT tax added onto the amount. When you top up your petrol, you're paying sales tax. Everything is taxed. They may as well just tax us to breathe now, shouldn't they? Just say, look, homeless man on the street, are you breathing air? Oh, you owe us, here's a brown envelope for you, and now you have to fill out this 52-page form and tell us how much tax you owe, and if you get it wrong, then we'll put you in prison. Meanwhile, the very people that make the rules, you see all the MPs, it's so hypocritical, isn't it? Even Andy Burnham, who's talking about how he wants to help the homeless and social housing. Meanwhile, he's got a history of using the loopholes and getting free housing himself and getting taxpayers to pay for his housing, to pay for his refurbishments on his properties that he owns. Angela Rayner from Labour going on as the housing minister, talking about how, people need to pay their taxes, meanwhile not paying her taxes. You couldn't make it up. Then we've got the Green Party leader being backed by Gary Stevenson, the great economist, who talks about taxing the wealthy, but only the people that are more wealthy than him. Then you've got Zach Pilansky, leader of the Green Party, who literally lived on a boat to avoid paying council tax. And then jumping up and down like an idiot saying tax the rich. And we all know that the rich don't pay the same taxes as what the working class pay. And the reason for that is because the rich people make up the rules. And I get bashed all the time. I've been talked about in the Houses of Parliament and they're saying, Samuel needs to pay his taxes. When will the tax man come after Samuel Leeds?
But I'm really asking on behalf of the millions of people that he's ripped off, when will Samuel Leeds get a knock at the door from the tax man? Because he claims he doesn't just know a lot about the tax, he also knows a lot about the law. When this place previously debated Mr. Leeds' behaviour, he put out a video accusing us of not putting our heart into dealing with him. So these people need to be stopped.
But listen, I'm just playing the game. I always pay my fair share of taxes. It's not my fault that they make it so wonderful to have a limited company where you can claim expenses that are completely legitimate expenses. I didn't create the SAS fund rules where you can buy commercial properties through a SAS fund and pay zero tax. I didn't create that. I didn't create capital allowances. That was never mine. I learned about it. I was like, you can do this, and then not pay tax. Oh, okay. I didn't create it. I just figured it out. But I'm the only one who's figured it out that actually talks about it and says, look, here's exactly what you do. And then that's why they talk about me in Parliament. And they say, Samuel needs to stop talking about taxes because it's unregulated. He is not regulated to talk about tax. Oh, so I need to be regulated by you to talk about the rules that you created that I follow, but I shouldn't talk about on YouTube. Make it make sense. I would rather give my money away to causes that I care about. For example, I would rather give it to my church. I'd rather give it to homeless people, which I do. I house homeless people in the UK. I would rather build schools, which I do. I build schools across Uganda. I would rather build a hospital ward for 64 people and save lives. I would rather choose where I give money than have the government go, you owe us for breathing, and then they use it to fund wars and fund awful things that I don't even agree with. I would rather keep the money in my pocket and choose how to spend it. I don't know about you. This is my advice. Don't rely on the government's pauper schemes like ISAs and think, I'm gonna work really hard in a job. Don't do what the government tells you to do. Basically, everything you learned at school, from the government, everything from mainstream, just do the opposite, because that's not how you get rich. Go to school, even when you go to school, you learn at school to behave. You learn at school to be compliant. School is a 20-year brainwashing program to teach you to be a good employee that doesn't ask questions, that doesn't argue back, that puts your hands up when you want to go to the toilet. That's the purpose of school. That's why I pulled my kids out of school, built my own school. That's school. Then you finish school, you go to university. University is brainwashing. You go to university and you want to study gender studies for 3 years with some lecturer who is absolutely demented, but it's okay because it's regulated. You know, it's madness. I'm studying law at university. You'd think that law, I've just finished actually my second year, I'm on my summer holiday now, so I'll be going into my third year. I'm at Open University, so it's online. But you'd think that it would just be factual and it'd just be about law. No, it's not. It's continual brainwashing, pushing LGBT, pushing every single, I ain't got a problem with LGBT. I love LGBT people. But why is it that every single case study is a non-binary or like, what is going on? Like, what's this strange, what are they doing? What they're doing is they're trying to break down the family unit. They're trying to make people poor, we're turning into a communist society where everybody's weak, everybody's obedient, everybody's a slave, nobody's financially literate. Everybody just thinks, you know what? Let's just trust. This is what Gary Stevenson says from Gary Economics. He says, look, if you didn't have a rich dad, you're screwed. If you haven't got a rich dad, you're screwed. Therefore, we need to campaign, vote green, and hope that the government change it and bring in a wealth tax. But let me tell you something. These are facts now. Making the rich poor will not make the poor rich. The solution is not to campaign for a wealth tax. It is not to vote green. It is not to put money into an ISA and rely on the government and hope. It is to follow, let me tell you this, if I was about to die, here's what I would say. Follow the money. Follow the money. How are people getting rich? What's going on? Oh, they said this. Well, Gary said this. Who's paying him? Follow the money. Figure out what rich people are doing. Learn the rules and copy them. At school they teach you, don't they? Brainwash you at school. Don't cheat. I was told I was a cheat at school because I paid somebody who was a bit smarter than me to help me with my work. That's cheating. Now, fast forward 25 years, that person that I used to pay at school to help me with my homework works for me on my business. That's not cheating. That's just called having a little ingenuity, right? Work on your own. Don't work as a group. Don't use a calculator. That's cheating. Don't use ChatGPT. That's cheating. What? Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the billionaires that run the world, do you think they use AI in their companies? Do you think they do all their work on their own? Do you think they pay people, the smartest people in the world, to do their work for them? Do you think they pay taxes? Do you think they cheat? No, they don't break the law. Arnold Schwarzenegger says, don't break the law, but break the rules. Every entrepreneur does that. I've ran a training program and the government want to get this banned. They hate it, but they can't because everything I say is completely factual. But I run a training program where I literally just break down how anybody from scratch can grow a successful property portfolio and become financially independent within 12 months or less. And mitigate their taxes at the same time. That's the bit they hate. And in Parliament, they're going crazy having frenzies about this. Samuel's courses are not regulated. What are we going to do? What? Why do you care so much? Why do you care about my training not being regulated by who? By you? It is regulated by me. So they're having frenzies about this in Parliament. But that makes me want everyone to do it even more. That's the rebel in me. So right now it's completely free. Okay, so I'm gonna leave a link in the description. Register. We've got a couple running over the next week or so. Choose the date you can do and turn up. Don't miss it, because I don't know if I'll be doing it again. You don't know how long I'm gonna be doing this for. You don't know what's gonna happen. So register, turn up with a pen and paper, take notes, and just my advice, if you were my kid, I say this to them, I've got 4 kids, I say this to my kids, just listen and do everything I say, but fact check it against ChatGPT, against Gemini. Use your brain, but follow what I'm saying. Follow the money and stop relying on this pathetic government.